There are more than 100 trillion bacterial cells in our body. The digestive tract is home to a natural balance of good, bad, and neutral bacteria. Do you know? Good bacteria, also called probiotics, support overall digestive and immune health. To know more about the bacterial action in the digestive system, let's learn.
Good morning, children. I'm very happy to meet you all back in the biology class. Hope you are doing well and staying safe. Let's meet each other with a smile because the smile is the beginning of love. With your beautiful smile, you can make someone happy. If you keep smiling, it's good for your face muscles. It also keeps you young always. What does Bible talk about love? Smiling at each other is love. So what does Bible tells about love? 1 John 4:16 says, God is love. And he who abides in love also abides in God because God in him. So with that love, with that smile, let's go in today's lesson. It's a recap of previous class. So what we discussed in the previous class, we have learnt about digestive system of human being. So under the digestive system, what are the topics have we covered? We have covered the structure of alimentary canal, histology of the gut, and we also discussed about the digestive glands. Now these are some of the topics we discussed in the previous class. So what are we going to learn today? Today, we're going to learn about digestion of food and role of digestive enzymes. In the previous class, we have learnt about the system, now how the food is getting digested and what are the enzymes involved in digestion we are going to discuss in today's class. What is meant by digestion? It is a process where the solid food is absorbed by the body, the nutrients are assimilated by the mechanical and the chemical process. Let's see the digestion process and various organs of our body. Okay. First, we consume the food through our mouth. Okay. So it is the first addition. We consume the food through our mouth. So digestion starts in the buccal cavity. Okay. What are the various parts involved in the buccal cavity? First part, the mechanical stimulation of food in the mouth, which triggers reflex action and secretes saliva. When you look at a food which is really a favorite to you, maybe mango pickle, okay, your mouth starts watering. Now it's nothing but your mouth starts working. The saliva secretion is nothing but because of the triggering of reflex action, your mouth is ready for digestion. Next is mechanical digestion is nothing but mastication. What is mastication? Chewing. How does the chewing happen in the mouth? With the help of teeth. Okay. So mastication starts in the mouth. Then later the same buccal cavity, the saliva secretes. Okay. I told you it's because of reflex action. The saliva contains water. Apart from water, along with water, the saliva also have electrolytes, salivary amylase, lysozyme is nothing but the enzyme which kills a microorganism, and even the mucus. All these are responsible for digestion. That's why digestion starts in the mouth buccal cavity. Now what is the purpose of mucus? Mucus secretes along with saliva, which helps in swallowing the food as bolus into pharynx and esophagus. They help in chewing the food. They form into bolus. From pharynx to esophagus, the food passes. What is the type of the movement there? Peristaltic movement. Remember the previous class I also discussed in the Zoom section? Yes, the peristaltic movement are seen in the esophagus. Wavy movement. By peristaltic movement, the bolus nothing but the chewed food. Bolus passes down the stomach. It is controlled by the gastroesophageal sphincter. It's a muscle which helpful during the digestion. Okay. Next part. Where does the food passes from the esophagus to stomach? Now, second one is digestion in stomach. How does digestion in stomach occur? What are the steps involved? In the first step, the food remains here for how many hours? In the stomach for 4 to 5 hours. It churns. We can't chew there, we can only mix churns and mix with the gastric juice, and the form is called chyme. Chyme is nothing but the food present in the stomach for 4 to 5 hours. It mixed with the gastric juice. What is the purpose of gastric juice? It's useful for the digestion. The gastric juice contains HCl, hydrochloric acid, and proenzyme, which gets converted into active pepsin, which converts into protein later to protease and peptones. So in the stomach, you can find the gastric juice along with HCl, which useful in the digestion. Here the conversion of pepsin into protein, finally into protease into peptones. What about the acid? We have acid in the stomach, hydrochloric acid. Now, HCl with acidic medium kills all the when you consume food, you also consume microorganisms, okay? So, it kills all the pathogenic microorganisms. The mucus, I told you, it's there in the saliva, passes to the stomach. The mucus and the bicarbonates protect the mucosal epithelial from eroding the HCl. Since it's an acid, it kills a microorganism. Sometimes it also infects the internal layer of the intestine or the stomach. To avoid that, the mucus and the bicarbonates protect the skin internal layer from the hydrochloric acid. Renin, a proteolytic enzyme of milk protein, and the casein, which helps in the digestion. So in the stomach we have renin and the casein, both helps in digestion. Okay, the next one. In this picture you can find the stomach and the gastric secretion. Here you can find the epithelial layer where the hydrochloric acid secrete. You can find it from the esophagus. The food passes to the stomach. You learn about 3 types stomach: cardiac, fundus and pyloric stomach. Okay. Here you can find the various conversion. First pepsinogen, and if you find that it's hydrochloric acid present here, which kills a microorganism. The HCl convert pepsinogen into pepsin. The pepsin digests into peptones, and you also can find the parietal cells. You know what is parietal cells? These are the cells which produce the hydrochloric acid. Okay. So from esophagus, from the buccal cavity, stomach, now important part of the digestive system is intestine. Digestion in the small intestine. We have 2 types of intestine: small intestine and the large intestine. What's happening in the small intestine? The bile, the pancreatic juice and the intestinal juice are secreted in the intestine. Bile juice, pancreatic juice and the intestinal juice are secreted here. They move, they mix the food, and which is secreted by the muscularis layer along the secretion of digestion. The food kept mixed. Okay, they move, and the main function here, the absorption of nutrients occur. As a result of digestion in the stomach, all the macromolecules convert into micromolecules, okay, micro units, and the simple substance absorbed in the jejunum, ileum, and later the gastric secretions are stimulated by the neural signals. So one of the important structure in the small intestine is finger-like projection called villi. Now this villi absorbs the nutrients in the small intestine. Okay, so we have discussed about a few juices: bile juice, intestinal juice, and even the gastric juices. Now let's learn about the functions or roles of each juice. What is the purpose of these juices? These juices are helpful in the digestion. First one, role of bile juice. Bile juice, bile is a juice, okay? It is nothing but a pigment, bile pigment, bilirubin and biliverdin. They are yellowish in color, secreted by the liver. It breaks down in the as the end product of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin break down and produce the bile juice. And the pigment present here, bilirubin and biliverdin. The bile is nothing but the bile juice, helps in emulsification of fat, absorption of fat, and activates the lipase to digest the lipids. Lipase, whenever the word ends with ease, E-A-S-E, okay, it's nothing but the enzyme. So it activates the lipase to digest the lipid. Lipid is nothing but the fat. The bile salt, I said no, bilirubin, biliverdin, the bile salt, reduce the surface tension of the fat droplets and break into smaller globules. Okay. The next one is another juice, pancreatic juice. Any idea which structure secrete pancreatic juice? Yes. Leaf-like structure present below the stomach is called pancreas. Now this pancreas also called dual gland. Okay, because they act as an endocrine and ectocrine. Now here they are going to act as an exocrine because they are secreting enzyme. Now this pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. So what's special about pancreatic juice? It contains enzymes like trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, carboxypeptidase, pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase and nuclease. All these are the enzymes present in the pancreatic juice because it acts as an exocrine gland. The trypsinogen activated by the enterokinase converted into chymotrypsinogen. And this juice acts on proteolytic enzyme. Okay, trypsin hydrolyzes the protein into proteopeptides and peptones. This pancreatic amylase, another enzyme, converts glycogen and starch into maltose. The lipase acts on emulsified fat, hydrolyzes the fatty acid and monoglycerides. It also has mucus along with enzymes. The mucus along with the bicarbonate ion provide the proper medium, alkaline medium for the enzymes to act. Enzymatic reaction. So the alkaline medium is supplied by the mucus along with the bicarbonate. Okay. A third juice, role of intestinal tissue juice. Intestinal juice. So the intestine also secretes juice called intestinal juice. It is also called succus entericus. It is secreted by the Burnous gland along with the intestinal glands. What are the enzymes do they secrete? They secrete enzymes like maltase, lactase, sucrose, dipeptidase, lipase, nucleosidase. So what are the role of intestinal juice? We just discussed. It also called succus entericus. It is secreted by the Burnous gland along with the intestinal gland. What are the enzymes do they secrete? The intestinal juice secretes enzymes like maltase, lactase, sucrase, dipeptidase, lipase, nucleosidase. And the intestinal juice acts on breaking down a product of the bile and pancreatic digestion. So it helps in the digestion of the bile juice and the pancreatic digestion. Okay. So you can find the actions of enzymes here, some of the actions of intestinal enzymes. So maltose, maltase acts on maltose, give rise to glucose and glucose. Sucrase is an enzyme, act on sucrose, give rise to glucose and fructose. Lactase is an enzyme, act on lactose and lactose, give rise to glucose and galactose. Peptidase is an enzyme of intestinal enzyme. Now this peptidase act on dipeptides and tripeptides, give rise to amino acid. The nucleotidase acts on nucleotides, give rise to nucleoside and phosphoric acid along with phosphoric acid. Nucleoside is converted by the nucleosidase, give rise to sugar and nitrogen base. The diglycerides and monoglycerides in the presence of lipase give rise to fatty acid and glycerol. Now these are some of the enzymatic actions. Now absorption of proteins, fats and carbohydrates. So the main function of the intestine, it absorbs the nutrients like protein, fats and carbohydrates. The absorption process by which the end product of digestion passes through the intestinal mucosa where over the blood and lymph. The villi, I just told you few slides before, the villi is a finger-like projection. It completely covers the inner side of the small intestine. And the nutrients are absorbed actively, passively, and sometimes facilitated transport. Directly it can absorb very easily, and passively, and even they also absorb by the facilitated transport. Small amount of glucose absorbed through simple diffusion. What is diffusion? Movement of molecules, water or gaseous molecules from the higher concentration to lower concentration. And even the fructose also moved, transported or absorbed through a facilitated transport. Your sodium play a very important role to carry the fructose. You can find the process of digestion and absorption in this picture. The carbohydrates here break down into monosaccharide and disaccharide with the help of some enzymes, and this carbohydrates finally absorbed as a monosaccharide, nothing but glucose, and mix in the blood, what we call blood sugar. Next, lipid, the fat. They break down into fatty acid, diglycerides and monoglycerides, and finally they mix in the lymph vessel, then the bloodstream. It will actually directly mix with the lymph vessel. Next one is proteins. The proteins are break down into proteoses and peptones. Later they convert into dipeptidase, tripeptidase and amino acid, and this amino acid is absorbed by the bloodstream. Now this is a simple way, a natural way of the process of digestion and absorption of nutrients in our body. Finally, addition. What is addition here? The digestive waste and unabsorbable substances in the ileum enter into large intestine where it has roughage. What is roughage? This roughage is utilized by the symbiotic bacteria in large intestine to produce vitamin K and metabolites. It's happening in the large intestine. Later, other substances absorbed in the colon, and later from the colon, along the water, from the colon, the solid fecal matter go to the rectum. From the rectum, the defecation of fecal matter, it's nothing but eviction through the anal, removal of dead defecation matter through the anus, and then through the opening, which is voluntary in function, and this movement is also called peristaltic movement. Children, that's all from today's class. I have completed the topic digestive system and the enzymes involved in digestive system. Go through the video carefully, read the lesson, understand the meaning, come for the Zoom regularly so that you can get cleared all your doubts there. Complete your Kahoot or quizzes and also the test before 11 p.m. See you in the next class. Have a good day. Goodbye.